Good morning. I'm so glad you're all here. I'm Devin Stone, owner and partner in Construction Programs and Results, markupandprofit.com. I know you're not here to listen to me talk, so I'm going to introduce Brian Javelin. Brian Javelin will be presenting the marketing planning topic of today's webinar. Brian is from My Online Toolbox, the #1 online marketing and website education series for contractors. And with nothing further, Brian, go ahead.
Hello everybody, and I'd like to thank the thousands of contractors that are joining us, as well as the few lead generation folks too who are trying to spy, and they're going to help us out later in this presentation. So to begin, we have to decide who is your ideal customer, and we need to know, are you looking at this as a question or a statement? You need to realize this needs to be a statement of defining your target market. Similar to myself in the various businesses that have won awards, including entering this industry years ago, winning an award before we even had a product, we always were knowing who our target market is. So as a contractor, we need to begin to ask you, what service do you provide? And it begins by usually contractors saying, I'm in the construction industry. But when you take a step back, you realize that maybe you're a remodeling company, but if you take another step back, you have to define that you're actually specific to kitchen and bathroom remodeling. So after you define your product, or service, we then need you to define specifically, where do you provide your service? This is one of the biggest weaknesses in the contracting industry, especially when it comes to their online image. Similar to the presidential candidates that are now touring for their party's nomination, they specifically initially target the states that they know are interested in their Democratic or Republican Party, and then once they win the nomination, they tour the rest of the country to convince you to choose them. Same thing goes as a contractor. You need to identify where are the towns that you like to work in. And once you know that, you then combine it with your image of what you do and where you do it. But now comes a dilemma. How do your future customers find you, and what image will you project when they actually do find you? And usually it becomes a very difficult scenario of the horse before the cart or the cart before the horse, and we're going to help you out. What happens is, while you're looking about how your customers find you and what the images you present when they do find you, we have a way to make it easier for customers to find you while also simultaneously projecting a powerful image for your services. So we're going to look to hit two birds with one stone. Keep in mind, when people are searching for you for more quality contractor leads, there's really a handful of ways they may be searching for you. Through the web with the words that you say, also images, videos, and potentially maps and a couple of other alternatives, but the main ones are what you say, what you look like, and how it's said with videos. So keep in mind, you have an ace up your sleeve. Every job that you work on tells a story. Keep in mind to get testimonials, get pictures, get videos. This will help you further elaborate those job details, as well as further elaborate on the types of customers and locations you work on. So for you listeners right now who are looking down, please look up for 1 second. And the takeaway at a minimum from this presentation is to remember, every job tells a story. Get testimonials, get pictures, and get video. And what will happen is we're going to use some great examples. By the way, you don't need to write. All of this will be directed to you it was just placed on a webinar page just for you. Here's a great example of a contractor who is doing a fantastic job getting testimonials, but now what they're also doing is learning how to understand that secret code word that a lot of the technical guys like to do. It's called SEO, search engine optimization. So within the actual wording itself, they learn how to identify to the Google and the other search engines that they are actually in the bathroom remodeling industry. Here's another contractor who's doing a fabulous job with images. In this particular case, this is a home that they built, but again, underneath that picture is one of the numerous SEO code words, search engine optimization, on how these images could be found. This particular picture generated many prestigious awards for where this gentleman is located, but behind the scenes, more importantly, are those, again, secret code words for SEO, search engine optimization, to have the search engines know what do these images represent. And here is another example of a contractor who's literally hitting the ball out of the park, grand slam, in taking videos and allowing these videos to completely express what he does and where he does it and for who he does it with, again, those secret buzzwords for SEO, search engine optimization. If you look at the examples, you'll see how he introduces the actual project he did, and they walk through the construction of the project, and then comes the customer. This is a real review that people can trust. Remember, when people read, they hear their own voice, but when they listen to the person that's speaking to them. So what will happen is now, as you're defining your target market, you're allowing every job to help you tell a story, making it easier for customers to find you with the code letters of SEO, search engine optimization, and you're also simultaneously projecting a powerful image for your services. Once you take the two and combine them, then your website begins to grow like a living, breathing newspaper. Examples of another contractor who on their site, they're always promoting the recent projects they've done, and now you could take it to the next level and even begin to show the projects that you're currently starting. Watch those projects evolve. There's different ways to do so. Can't go quick enough on this 15 minutes, but what will happen is once you optimize them and place them on your site, you could then move them up from a project you've started and move it into a recent project completed, allowing your website to constantly have as a marketing machine. Keep in mind, the three main websites out there are Google, Facebook, and YouTube's owned by Google. You need to leverage the opportunities with content, pictures, and video with the main guys and what they're looking for. And keep in mind also, most contractors do not understand marketing, and many of them don't like it. But realistically, it's real easy to have you have what's called sustainable marketing. What can you do repetitively, easily, and enjoyable? It's very simple. Gather content and also sprinkle that content with that search engine optimization, the buzzwords, and the technology with all of the job details as well as the customer supporting you. It's really easy to do. And if you're not positively motivated, well, we have some people on the phones that are listening today from the lead gen companies who will all be attempting to sell you leads in 3 different ways. You see a commercial online, use that positively to help you get pictures. You get those email solicitations probably weekly. Let those be positively reinforcing your objective to get testimonials. And when you get a phone solicitation, don't get annoyed. Have it be used as a reminder to get customer videos. What will happen is you are all going to be getting different types of solicitations on load your pictures here for free, give us your testimonials here for free. Keep in mind, the little checkbox that says, I accept the terms and conditions, there's a reason why you should not. Now that you have a general idea of how the importance of content matters, read those terms and conditions and look at what's happening to your information once you give it away to somebody, especially for free. Keep in mind, SEO, search engine optimization, it really isn't this difficult at all. Once you get the content, it's easy to load it on your site, and it really is not that difficult to optimize it. Buzzwords, title tags, anchor text, picture optimization, video optimization, it's really not that difficult. You just have to understand the basic principles in order to leverage quality inbound lead generation marketing. Content marketing is the game changer for your inbound marketing plans. You need a simple plan. Keep it simple. Regular, helpful content targeted at your customer, the type of service, and the location. Keep your site alive with freshness to show that it's constantly growing. Then once you have that, you've acquired the content, you've placed it on your site, simply surround it with the marketing for search called SEO, search engine optimization. Also, now that we've helped you define how customers can find you better, as well as help you better project the images of your services, you do have to take a step back and remember, who is your competition? Well, there's really 3. The direct competitors, but we can't talk about that now unless we know who they are. The indirect competitors, such as the lead gen guys, which we don't like because they're just looking to take your information to leverage it in every which way to possibly sell you a lead, and more than likely sell those leads to your competitors too. And your own complacency. But by you listening right now, we already know that you're changing and you're going to be thinking twice on how you just focus in on your direct competitors and the indirect competitors. The vast majority of you have website companies that unfortunately are better at SEO than marketing. Many of them call themselves marketing companies, but they're really more versed at keyword analysis and web page tech terms. What happens is you have to remember, when you're looking at online marketing, you really now have a wonderful opportunity to consider change. Change two ways. First, how do people look at you when they see you? Keep in mind, most contractor websites were developed years ago when it was predominantly a desktop search, but now you have to consider, how does your site look on a desktop? How does it look on a phone? And how does it look on a tablet? And the search engines actually will give you ranking priority when you are able to be seen the correct way based on who's searching for you on what type of device. And independent of the graphical image is the SEO topics, which work accordingly on all three different types of major search engine opportunities. So what you have is an option now to think about retaining your existing programmer or just starting fresh. Keep in mind, you do have an opportunity to retain your existing programmer so long as you and they admit that they're better at technology than they are at marketing. And we're going to help you out two ways. One, right now, if you go to the free planning webinar on the website, you're going to see that we guide you to understanding these concepts as it relates specific to the industry you're in. It's not generic, it is specific. And more importantly, is allowing you to be focused on the strengthening of your relationship with the existing programmer, understanding why the lead gen folks are asking you to give them their content as fast as possible, and then separately also possibly strategize whether it's time to enhance your site and just start fresh. But you need to be able to understand whether your existing website is salvageable or whether it's time to simply say you must make a change and start fresh. Keep in mind, there's a few lead gen people here today, and they're all learning to figure out ways how to fight for your money on your short-term budget. The problem is that's not marketing. They know the majority of contractors are looking for the leads this Friday and next Friday. That is not marketing. What you need to do is take a step back and realize through a limited amount of education, marketing is planning for a few months out to the next half a year and the next year out. But they do know that most contractors don't want to hear that, which is why you're being bombarded by so many people trying to sell you a short-term opportunity, when our definition of a short-term opportunity is 3 months and 6 months, but not next Friday. In summary, we would like to remind you, define your target market. What are your services? Break it down. More importantly, where do you specifically target your customers? Remember to get pictures, testimonials, and video, and don't give that content away. It's so difficult to get in the first place. Don't give it away, especially if you haven't read the terms and conditions of who you're giving it to. Embrace marketing education, the biggest weakness of the industry. Understand the importance of this unique content that allows you to show the differentiations of who you are, your competitors are. Make it sustainable, and it's easy to be repetitive, easy and fun by simply using your customers and jobs to help you represent what you do. And then use those lead gen communications to help motivate you for when you forget. Keep in mind you need to consider both search engine optimization, not difficult to learn, and the image you project based on the device that's looking for you as two independent topics. You could visit myonlinetoolbox.com. And you're going to notice, too, that there's a reference to one of the things that the next speaker is going to have, that there's a particular book that we love to be able to reference to people, because once those quality leads start to come in, the next focus you need to do is decide how best to make as much money as possible on that particular job. Once you do make money on that job, we're only going to ask you for one reminder. You're picking up that final check. Don't forget to get those pictures. Don't forget to get the testimonial written. And even better yet, take out that smartphone and say, would you mind giving me a video testimonial? You would be shocked about how well you'll be positioning for the year 2020 and beyond. So please, when done with this webinar, there is some offers just for live attendees today. If you look for the free planning webinar, please find that. You will see multiple offers. And the cool thing is that in addition to the webinar examples, based on the pictures, the testimonials, the content, and the videos, you're also going to see big savings. But it's not the money. Again, let me remind you, the big savings is not the money, because it's a fraction of the cost that all of you are spending on lead generation. It is you understanding no one is going to give you better leads next Friday. but you can be getting many better jobs within 3 to 6 months if you take an approach on realizing you need to understand marketing for the future. My name is Brian of My Online Toolbox. I thank you very much, and I'm wishing you the best of luck on making as much money as possible with your future quality leads. And now I say goodbye, and I'm going to introduce you to Michael of Markup and Profit. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. As usual, lots of information in a short time. Give us a second while we change presenters. Michael Stone is my partner in construction programs and results, markupandprofit.com. He's the author of Markup and Profit, a Contractor's Guide, Profitable Sales, a Contractor's Guide, the Profitable Estimating Training Class, and almost all of the content on our website. So with that, I'm going to let Michael start. Go ahead, Michael.
Thank you, Devin. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for attending this morning. Brian talked and gave us an awful lot of information now. And now what I would like to do, you remember in there he said there to you need to figure out who your ideal client is and what your ideal project or job is. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to do those two things. I'm a little more specific than what Brian was talking more on lead generation, and I'm going to show you how to compile the content so when you start generating leads, you'll know exactly where you're going. Okay, our coaching clients, and we've been coaching now for 17 years plus, and we got several hundred coaching clients. What the ones that have been successful tell me that when they do their year-end review, in other words, they at the end of the year, and that time is coming up here real soon, when they do the year-end review, and then when they do the planning for the following year, okay, that allows them to better identify who their ideal clients have been and should be or will be in the future, and it also helps them identify exactly what their best jobs are or their ideal jobs, and that's the point of what we're going to be talking about right now. Okay, so when you talk about reviewing and planning for a year, I can't tell you how many times people say, well, we're going to take this weekend and do our planning for the year, and I always want to say, oh no, you're not, and and that, of course, that wouldn't come across very well. But what you're doing with the weekend or maybe a weekend planning, something like that, that's what I call a lick and a promise. Okay, you're not really getting into it like you should. A good review and planning session should take you at least 6 weeks. And I said we're going to be coming up on the review and planning time for this next year, and it should start about 3 weeks from now on November 16th, and that should be a minimum, November 16th through December 31st. If you're trying to do it in less time than that, you're not giving it a good effort. You're giving it a lick and a promise. Now, you may disagree. That's all well and good, but the bottom line is, out this time next year, you'll find out whether the amount of effort and time you put into it this year was as good as it should be, because you'll be able to tell by November, December next year, you'll know exactly what your results have been from the planning you did this year. Now, let's talk about the review of 2015. Okay, the first thing you need to do is review your business. I'm not talking about building jobs. I'm talking about your business, such things as your sales performance. Did you sell as much business as you predicted that you would for this next year? Which means that you've also got a lot of other things involved in that. Was your marketing and advertising campaign correct? Was your salespeople, yourself or your salespeople, properly trained? Did they perform like they should? Did you review your financial performance for the year? In other words, did you set your overhead expenses for the year, and did you match them exactly? And, my 8th cardinal rule is you shall, honor your overhead budget and spend not otherwise. Now, guys, I hope you're listening. I know the ladies don't have any trouble with that, but guys often do. They see toys and they want to go buy all this and buy that. And once your budget is set, you should never deviate from it. Okay? There are emergencies, yes, but those are rare. You need to set a profit minimum. And the successful companies that I know, all of them are making at least 8% net profit plus. I seen an article the other day that said the best home builders are averaging about 5.5% net profit. I'm sorry, that's not enough. And I saw another report that said the remodeling contractors are averaging about 1.5% net profit. Gang, either one of those situations, if you have a bad job, and this may come as a newsflash, but there are bad jobs out there, and every once in a while we collect one of those. When you have a bad job, it's going to wipe out your profit not only from that job, but many other jobs as well. So you need that 8% cushion. That's why we say that. Have you looked at your employees? You need to review all your employees. Who are the good ones? What are they accomplishing? You know, are they working on their education? And the other side of the coin is who's the deadwood? And do they need to be transferred to the competition? And, you know, a lot of guys say, oh, you can't find anybody right now. I can't afford to fire any employees. Well, you know, have you done the math on that? That would be my question. Have you found out how much they're costing you as opposed to how much they're making you? You know, if an employee is not making you money, you know, frankly, you're crazy for keeping them on staff. I don't care how bad or how far behind you get. It's not worth it to keep an employee that costs you money. Okay, jobs. And we won't spend a lot of time on jobs because that's not where you make money. You make a living on jobs, but you don't make any money. So you need to look at the jobs you're doing and figure out where you made the most profit. And is there anything on those jobs that you could have done to make more profit? Okay, that's part of this ideal job thing. When you identify your best jobs, that includes which jobs you make the most money on. It also includes getting rid of the bottom 80% of the jobs you're doing because they only generate about 20% of your income. You know, today's marketplace, people want to have specialists. They want people that really know and understand kitchens. They don't want somebody that does everything. And, you know, and it's always amusing when you look at some contractors advertising, well, we specialize in, and then they have a laundry list of 18 different types of jobs they do. You know, that doesn't work. You know, 1, 2, maybe 3 jobs that you do, kitchens, baths, and, you know, maybe something else, but that's just about it. Or you're doing dormers, or you do room additions or whatever, but you want to specialize. That's when you start making money, is when you start becoming more of a specialist. And then you need to look at your subcontractors and your suppliers. And were they on time? Did they do what they agreed to do? Did they keep their jobs clean? That's for the subcontractors. Did the suppliers, did they let you know about new and available products? Did they order them for you on time? Did they deliver them on time? Those are all questions you need to be asking to make darn sure that those subcontractors and suppliers are performing. If you are a subcontractor listening in, and I'm sure we have some this morning, did you do what you said you're going to do? Did you show up on time? Did you keep your job clean? Did you stick to your agreement for payment with the general contractor so that you're not bugging them all the time about money? Remember, general contractors are not a bank, and they shouldn't be expected to pay you the day you get the job done. Okay, so those are things that you need to review in your own company, and you need to. And this review period is going to take you at least 2 weeks if you do it right. Okay, there's a lot of work to be done here. The big picture then is what are the key strengths of your business, and you need to identify those. And do you have any unique selling points that separates you from your competition? I believe that every business has one thing they do better than anybody else because they really know and understand this one faction of their business. And that's what you want to grow on right there, okay? What are the weaknesses or challenges of your business? And, you know, I've never seen a business yet, and, you know, I've been in construction now 56 years, and I've never seen a business yet that didn't have weaknesses or challenges someplace if the owner's honest and faces them straight up. So, you know, you need to identify those and clean up what you can as soon as you can and put the rest of them on a list of things you got to work on, okay? So the question then is, when you get all done, you ask yourself, did I reach my business and my personal goals for 2015? And a lot of times, you know, your personal goals have a lot are tied with your business, whether you like to think of it that way or not. Okay, let's take a look at planning for 2016. Now this will take the remainder of your planning time at the end of each year. Probably 3 to 4 weeks is about right for planning, and you should carry a pad and pencil with you at all times during your planning sessions, and every time you think of something, you write it down. And that means if you're driving, you pull over to the side, write it down, and then go on again. You know, you're going to, from the time you think of something to the time you stop, write it down, and you're back on the road again is less than a minute in most cases. Okay, so you need to write it down and factor that stuff into your planning for the year. You want to get as much detail into your planning as you can. As I say about writing contracts, you know, I talk to people about contracts. You can never put too much into a contract, but you certainly can put too little into it. Same holds true with planning. You cannot put enough effort into planning, okay? But you can certainly put in too little, and that's what most contractors do, and that's why they end up at the year, you know, nothing happens during the year, and then they get out of the year and they wonder what happened. Well, they didn't do planning. Okay, let's talk about projecting 2016 annual volume of sales. And there's a very easy way to do that, and that is you figure out how much money you want to make yourself. How much money do you want to take home as your salary from your business? Now, if you've been in business less than 5 years, then you divide that by 8%, 0.08. If you've been in business more than 5 years, you divide it by either 0.09 or 0.10. Okay, as either 9 or 10% of your total sales. That should be the amount of money that you pay yourself to own or run your company. That's the fair compensation for running the business. Okay, now when you divide the salary you want by either 8%, 9%, or 10%, the number you get will be the amount of money your company must sell, the amount of jobs that your company must sell, build, and collect to support your new salary. Okay, that's a simple way of setting how much that's your simple way of setting your goals for sales for next year. Real simple, okay? Now, when you do your planning, you must talk about overhead expenses and set those. And again, once they're set, you don't deviate from them. You also need to project what your profits will be. You need to talk about your salary, okay, and any office staff salary, and anybody else in your company that's on salary. You need to have that set. And that should be done before the first of the year, okay? Sales needed. What kind of sales do you need to support all the expenses that you're going to have and pay the job cost and make a profit? Tool and equipment needs. A lot of times that gets kind of put, well, we really don't know. Well, just take the time to sit down and look at your tools and equipment and see what needs repair, what needs to be replaced. It's not that hard to do. It's better than guessing at it or not putting anything down. And then when your air hammer goes out, or the axle on your old delivery truck breaks down or whatever, it's not unexpected. You know that stuff's coming in a lot of cases. Okay. Now you take a look at your company forms, the office furniture and equipment that the company needs. Are all your forms in good shape? Your contracts, your change work orders, your punch list procedures, your post-sale paperwork, your what do you call it, the job layout sheets. If you got all that stuff together, is it all working properly? If it's not, then get it changed so you're ready for the new year. Talk about your staff. Staff, particularly the office staff. Are they all doing their job? All right. Have you got people on part-time? They should be full-time. Are they doing their job? If they're not, should they be replaced? What kind of educational program have you got set in place for everybody in your business that are key people? Okay. Do you belong to an association? Is the association helping you or hindering you? Okay, you need to take a look at that. Okay, vehicles, electronic equipment, your computers and your laptops and everything else. Talk about inventory. And you should not have inventory, by the way. If you're one of those companies that stores stuff and you're renting storage space, you need to get out of that. Okay. When the job is done, if you have inventory materials left over, take it back, pay the restock fee. And by the way, the restock fee should be on your estimate sheet if you're not really sure about how much you're going to need of things on the job. So those are all things that you need to go into your planning. Now, if you do a thorough review of 2015 and a good job of planning for 2016, it's going to take you, again, at least 6 weeks to get this complete. But when you do that, when you've gone through all this, you'll be able to pinpoint exactly who your ideal client is, and then with a good marketing program put together, as Brian talked about earlier, all right, you will get them interested in your ideal job. And that's utopia in construction, where your ideal client comes to you and asks about buying your ideal job. That to me is a very, very high quality lead. That's the best you're going to get in this business, okay? Now, we can help you with your planning and review, and I'd like you to go to our website, markupandprofit.com, and up at the top you'll notice there's, on the home page, there is a tab at the top left. It says articles. You click on that, and then when the new screen comes up, you look down the left-hand side all the way to the bottom. You're going to see two papers in there, Planning Part 1 and Planning Part 2. Now, we haven't had anybody send us anything new for those in several years, so we know they're probably pretty complete. And you're looking at 13 or 14 pages in length. What we'd like you to do is download those and start on Part 1 and start at the top of the first page and just go right down through it and answer the questions or do the exercises we recommend in there. And it's going to take you the full 6 weeks to get through all that. But when you get done, the benefit to it all is next year at this time, you're going to see you're very, very close or even over the goals you've set for sales and profits for your company. Now, how much better does it get than that? Okay, you're not guessing at anything. You know, there's an old saying, you know, you can make things happen or you can let things happen. And those that do a good job of planning are the people that make things happen. Okay, one other thing I'd like to say before I say thank you and goodbye, and that is I might have mentioned to a couple that we'd have a Q&A after this session, but Mrs. Stone has told me that that isn't going to happen for a variety of reasons this morning, which I won't go into. But with that done, and we thank you for attending today. May the profits be with you, and hope to see you next time.
Thank you, Michael. I'm laughing. I didn't realize you had told some people there would be a Q&A. Okay, first of all, let me wrap both Brian and Michael together by saying one thing. Once you get those jobs, you sell that job, you build that job, and it's done. Don't forget to grab the job site pictures and the testimonial and a video from your satisfied customer, because that is what's going to help you with your next job on your website, just like Brian mentioned. So with that, we are almost perfectly on time. Thank you all for being here. We really appreciated it. You have a great day. Goodbye.